Ladies and gentlemen, the most popular and valuable card in modern Pokemon card history just sold
for $5. For $5.
It's the apocalypse
on TCG Player. That's right. So today I'm basically gonna talk about TCG Player and manipulation. And if you've been around in this hobby for long enough, you know that manipulation on TCG Player isn't necessarily new. However, it is getting crazy out of hand, super blatant, super obvious, to the extent where now manipulation downwards has been shown, and literally the card that everyone should notice. I'm surprised it's been 3 days, and literally Shinyver is one of the only people who has even touched on this subject. But yeah, so we're going to talk about TCG Player tonight and manipulation, the ever-increasing frequency of manipulation. I'm basically going to tell you why it happens, how someone can financially gain from doing this, certain ways that it can be accomplished, and then basically we even caught the guy. We even figured out this afternoon, courtesy of Kaijo on Instagram. Thank you for helping me out. Basically, this video is coming out late because I've spent all day trying to figure out as much as I can about this situation. But basically, Moonbreon was absolutely manipulated almost in half. No, we will never know how many copies of Moonbreon truly sold for $1,000 to $1,200. What I can tell you is it's vastly more copies than that were sold on TCG Player themselves. Okay, so we're gonna reference Roaring Moon from 2 weeks ago, and we're gonna look at what happened with Roaring Moon 2 weeks ago, and then use that to segue right into Moon Baby and what happened with Moonbreon this weekend. And it is a very financially lucrative thing, or people wouldn't do it. So we're gonna talk about why manipulation occurs. We're gonna talk about Moonbreon right now. All right, let's get to it. All right, first of all, here's Roaring Moon. We're going to look at what happened. I'm going to show you right there so you see this. This was 2 weeks ago. As far as I know, I'm one of the only people who actually even talked about this dip via my Hottest Cards of the Week, which airs every Friday night. And it's because of Hottest Cards of the Week that airs every Friday night that I have noticed a trend. I have noticed a trend of this happening so much more than it used to happen. And it's getting more and more blatant, and it's getting more and more obvious. And first of all, just so you know, Pokeplace. This seller, all his listings have been removed. This is just in the last couple hours by TCG Player. This person right here is the one responsible for a large amount of $1,000 and $1,200 Moonbreon sales. So we're absolutely going to take a look at him and take a look at a Reddit post regarding him and his listings, as well as somebody who actually bought one of the listings and then got cold feet and got a refund because he didn't want to wait and sit around and find out if the Moonbreon was even real or not. So I talked to him. This is actually Kaijo on Instagram. We're going to look at this posting right here by the prestigious Owl on Reddit. But down here, right down here we go, unidentified ego. This person right here is Kaijo on Instagram, who I've been talking to for the last several hours. So we're going to go back to the Roaring Moon, look at this manipulation, then we'll go into the Moonbreon manipulation, then we're going to look at this this Reddit post, as well as some stuff that Kaijo sent me. And yeah, then I'm basically going to use both these that happened. I'm just going to show you the Umbreon right now. As you can see, it's right in the middle of its recovery. And just so you know, a dead giveaway that something tanked due to manipulation is a very swift recovery. So for those of you who are wondering if it was manipulation or not, if you have a very quick recovery a few days later, you can pretty much, it's a telltale sign that it's manipulation. Although we are absolutely going to look at the 28 copies of Roaring Moon that sold at $18, causing this massive dip. And we'll look at that. There you go. Starting to see them there. There they are. There's 28 of them, by the way. And I did bring this up on Hottest Cards of the Week, and it did recover. And it's only natural that I am, of course, going to continue to identify this as a massive issue on TCG Player until TCG Player steps in and starts doing some stuff about this. Because one, let me just stop right now, right here and now. this boom we're in has so many completely new features to it that the amount of new systems in place just to combat new issues that are all happening all at once in Pokemon TCG is ridiculous. Let me give you some examples. For like Costco, for example, just realized they can't set pallets down in the middle of Stampede aisles anymore. So they have had to create new systems in place to combat that issue. The Pokemon Company International has a serious bot scalping and internet website crashing problem. They just today announced a line queue. I'm not sure how that is going to help with the bots, but they're trying. What I'm saying is this bubble we are in and distribution, there is some major distribution issues that need to be fixed 3 months, 6 months, down the road. But there are so many new issues going on, and this issue is specifically Tcgplayer'S issue as it relates to manipulation. It is getting so bad that I am suggesting to you, Tcgplayer employees, that you need to start coming up with some new, fresh ideas on how to remove this bullshit from your website, because it has a massive ripple effect on so many different other platforms and buyers and sellers until the price corrects. Okay, so again, I'm making this video just to spread awareness and tell Tcgplayer to get their heads out of their asses. Okay, owned by eBay. They have plenty of money. All right, so here we go. So right off the bat, let's get back to Roaring Moon. Okay, so real quick, we'll cover the Roaring Moon right here. So as you saw, there was 28 sales at $18. Go all the way back here. There they are. You see them right there. Every single sale was either $18 or the market price. There wasn't really anything in between. This was 28 listings at $18, successfully tanking Roaring Moon all the way down to, I'll be honest, because I was watching this, let's see if we can get it exact. It was less than that. It got all the way down to $22, not $25. And it got a whole day later, let's see, 2 days later, it was still under $40. And we're going to talk about the 2 days later, 3 days later, and why that time frame really does matter. And the longer a card takes to recover, the more people, buyers and sellers, either scam, intentionally, or sellers lose out on tons of profit that they could have made. And I'll explain scenarios in which sellers will lose money because of manipulation like this happening in just a minute. But there you go. So it fully recovered as it should have, because it was an completely inorganic dump due to the 28 at 18. It recovered. That is what is going to happen with Moonbreon. So all of you who are worried about the value of your raw Moonbreon, do not worry. It will fully recover. It will go back up to somewhere between the neighborhood of $16, $18, $1,900 raw here in the next few days. I can guarantee you. And the reason I can guarantee you that is because of manipulation. Okay, so here we go. Umbreon, and as you can see, if I recorded this video this morning, this recovery line right here wouldn't even be there. It is literally recovering right here and now as we speak. Okay, but here we go. So here it is, Moonbreon. Let's go look at the sales. Let's go find the $5 sale, and then let's see what happened right after the $5 sale. There it is, $4.99. That wasn't hard to find, was it? So let's go before. Now this goes back a few days. It's good enough. 16.50, 14, 17, 18, 14, 37. And keep in mind, we should only be looking at near mint listings, not light play listings. 16, 17, 18, 18. Now, bang, $4.99. That's weird. Would you sell your Moonbreon for $4.99? I wouldn't either. Okay, now these $1,000 listings, we have since just this afternoon, meaning me, found out that they were all from one specific seller immediately following the $4.99. The only thing I don't know in this entire scenario is whether the $4.99 sale was the same seller, Pokeplace, with 47% negative feedback on Tcgplayer, with only we'll look at it later. The point is, the Pokeplace seller on Tcgplayer has sold maybe 30 copies total, like listings, and I think they were all Moonbreons, like fake ones. Okay, So anyway, here you go, $4.99, and then all of a sudden we go all the way back down to $1,000, $1,200. There's a couple featured listings that were still at the correct price, so 18, 16, 17, boom, boom. And then look, bang, 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 1,000, and then a featured listing, bang, 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 and then 14, and now we start the recovery, and now we're starting to get the actual recovery now that this right here has ended. The reason these thousands have ended is because TCG Player has removed that seller's listings. Okay, so there it is. You can clearly see, anyone with half a brain can see the effect that $4.99 and then immediate 2 at 1,000 does to a card that earlier that morning was $1,850 raw. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. It was $1,723 raw. My bad. Okay, but it was $1,700 on the 26th, 27th, $1,700, 28th, $1,700, 29th, $1,700. You could see it's clearly a $1,700 cards. With, in all honesty, I mean, it is what it is. We're in the middle of a bubble, but to be honest, this is kind of healthy uptrend, and it's not that unusual given all alt arts are gaining massively right now. So this here actually ain't that bad. So we have 1,700, $4.99, couple thousands. You go all the way down to $1,200 instantly. That is $500 in value lost if you are a seller or gained if you are a buyer. And I will explain to you scenarios in which people can purchase these cards for its new market value that it sat at right there for a day or two over the weekend. I'll explain how that is possible. So let's take a look at the seller real quick that was listing and selling all the $1,000 moon babies. The seller has 88 total completed sales, but in the last 30 days, only 17. And I've already been messaged by people who have $1,000 listings that aren't showing up on the sales log due to either them being canceled and refunded. The point is, all 17 of this dude's listings are probably these way undervalued Moonbreon listings. And again, I can't confirm the $4.99 is from Tcgplayer'S, but when you look at the timing, it is highly likely that the $4.99 sale was also from Tcgplayer'S. Was an actual physical real Moonbreon actually put in an envelope and sent to somebody for $5? Probably not. Definitely probably not. So I want to look at the Reddit post real quick, since people on Reddit absolutely saw this. 4 days ago is when the suspicions really started heating up on Reddit, at least, maybe not YouTube. But right here, the Prestigious Owl, as you see right there, Prestigious Owl. Today, so over the last few days, I've noticed the Evolving Skies Umbreon VMAX alt are plummeting in value on TCG Player. It appears to be the handiwork of a single seller from what I can tell. A couple days ago, they had 4 near mint for sale around 1,000 mark, which was priced at 1,700 plus. Today, they had yet another 4. The first 4 sold, this time for less than 1,200. Which of one has already sold? There's even a sell for $4.99 in the mix right before. If you view their store, they're selling a bunch of other high-end cards too. Seller's name is Tcgplayer'S. No way this isn't straight fraud, right? So there it is, Tcgplayer'S, bang, bang. You come down here. I've been wondering the same thing. Has to be fraud. No one sells a top card with infinite inventory for less than half market value. I recommend reporting to TCG Player. We already just looked at that. Prestigious Owl, look at that. Tcgplayer'S, there he is again. And this was a few days ago. When was it? 2 days ago. Still there, hadn't been banned yet. No listings taken down yet. Now, unidentified ego. This is Kaijo, who has been sending me, who bought this. This is his purchase. This is his, so good morning. I recently had a charge for Umbreon that I would like to cancel as soon as possible. I message you. This is Kaijo messaging the Tcgplayer'S, the guy with all the fake Moonbreons or whatever, or at least fake listings. To cancel refund. The only thing Tcgplayer'S has said is this broken, incorrectly spelled. I know it's tiny. It says, is there any way you can request it to he canceled? To which Kaijo said, no, I think you have to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then 4 straight unresponded messages. And eventually TCG Player did reimburse Kaijo the entire $1,203 So there's that. We go down here. Complete fraud. This is just stuff other people are saying. Complete fraud. Canceled my order when there were multiple listings just a few days ago. He had 2 pages of Pokemon card products. Now he has 200 pages of Pokemon card products. And then Prestigious Owl 2 hours ago. Actually, I haven't read this yet. You must be figuring out what I did. I just checked it, and it looks like TCG Play, has removed the sales data associated with the listings. At least for this card, does the seller still have an account? So the seller has an account, but all their listings have been deleted. So there you go. I have a feeling this is the one who sold the $5. I mean, let's just be honest. The coincidence is way too close. But yeah, so PokePlace, manipulation, TCG Player. There you go. Yeah, so anyway, you can see, here's what happens. As you can see, recovery a couple days. Right here now, by tomorrow or the next day, we will probably have a complete recovery the next couple days. But now I want to talk about the ends justifying the means and why someone would manipulate, and like, what's the point of going through all this and doing this? What are you secretly, how are you financially gaining from this? And so what's the point of doing it is what I want to talk about. Okay, why would someone tank the price of a card on TCG Player? And now there was only, as far as we know, 7 or 8 copies sold for like $1,000 afterwards. Half of them got canceled. The seller got canceled. Everything got canceled, right? But the graph still looks the same. The graph is recovering. But here's what happens. I've been saying this forever. TCG Player has a stranglehold on the raw card Pokemon price market, okay? So, more TCGs, more card shops, more sports card shops, you name it, use TCG Player to reference how much they need to sell a card for than any other online platform, period. Okay? Period. It's just the way it is. It's literally is TCG Player. It has a monopoly on this stuff. And I know that because I buy a ton of raw cards from a ton of real physical card shops. TCG shops, game stores, sports card shops, you name it. They almost all of them, literally, at least in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, literally everyone uses TCG Player all the time. The only time I see people not using TCG Player is at card shows, literally, and often that's for slabs, not raw cards. Okay, so there are stores, and I'm not going to say the name of the store, the game store, the local game store in my area, but they use online systems that automatically reference TCG Player market values to decide and keep up to date how much they are charging for cards. This specific LGS that I'm thinking of just takes whatever the market price is near mint for a Pokemon card on TCG Player, and they add 5% or something like that. Like, that's it. And that's how they sell their cards. So, if you work for a sports card shop, like, let's say you own a card store, but you have 2 or 3 employees that are like 21, 22, maybe they're into Magic or sports cards. They don't give a shit about Pokemon, okay? They don't give a shit. They don't know. It's not, the Pokemon cards isn't really their forte. They just know if someone wants to buy a Pokemon card, look it up on TCG Player, and then sell it for the near mint market price. That's it. So, the game store in my area that has 4 different locations, they're doing very, very good. They had something like 4 or 5 Moonbreons that were all almost $2,000. They were all $2,000, right? Just a few days ago. I can't confirm. I didn't look up if they still had them in stock right before this massive manipulation. It's safe to say they were still in stock when this happened. The point is they were all $2,000. The second I found out about this Moonbreon manipulation downwards and it losing $600 in value, I went to that website, I looked up Moonbreon, and what do you know? They were all gone, completely sold out of Moonbreons all of a sudden. Why? Because that system probably sold all their Moonbreons for literally $1,200 when it was pumped downwards to $1,100 or $1,000 a few days ago. So, if you by yourself make some fraudulent sales on TCG Player, knowing that you have an LGS down the street that references TCG Player market values, you can then, either yourself, I'm not going to talk about how to do it, but yourself or working with other people can have listings populate for way, way less, value in sales, tanking the price. Then now you know that the TCG market value is way less than it should be, and now you go to that LGS and buy all their copies, saving yourself $3,000 just in this, random scenario that I came up with right now. So the point is, the reason a person or a group of people work together on TCG Player to manipulate a price downwards is because they already have assurances that they can load up on tons of copies of that card on another platform or in their area, or it's just some other system. So that is the financial incentive to manipulate downwards. The scammer, the manipulator, knows that it's only going to last a few days tops before the real value bakes in and helps bring the market value back up to where it should be. But before then, all the unsuspecting, don't know better TCG sellers, sports card shops, any of them and all of them will accidentally sell Moonbreon for $1,200, not $1,800 or $1,700. So that is just one of the financial incentives to manipulating downwards on TCG Player. Is the unknowing will always reference TCG Player market values and sell for that new completely tanked price. So happened with Roaring Moon. It's now happened with Moonbreon. A couple months from now, it'll probably happen with some new hot Prismatic Evolutions card. And for 2 or 3 days, a bunch of people will take advantage, causing a bunch of sellers, either personal sellers or individual card shops, to lose tons of value because of manipulation. So all I'm going to do is leave you with this. TCG Player. Everyone else is creating new innovative ways to help keep this hobby alive and make it way less scammy and scummy. We now need you to start doing that. I don't care if you flag every single listing that is listing 20% higher or lower than whatever the current market value is for that card in that condition on that day, and then you review it later. And if it's completely unreasonable, maybe you just remove the listing. I don't know. But there's a lot of smart people in that company / eBay, have tons of money. They have tons of R&D. They need to figure this out, because right now it's costing random sellers hundreds, or if not totaling thousands of dollars, until these cards recover after they are being manipulated. All right, that's all I got. I'll upload another video probably tomorrow, and until next time, I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.
FOMO. Hide your kids. Hide your kids. Hide your kids. It's the apocalypse.